We're going to be talking about some new allegations that came out about Wilbur and see if they're legitimate or not, which of course I won't be able to decipher, but I'm going to be checking it out. If you don't know, he was originally alleged to be biting and abusing his previous girlfriend, Shelby, and she came out and made this video about explaining her side of the situation.
Thought that it was just like a constant accident that he kept hurting me. But he's not hitting me. And it didn't start as something that he did to hurt me. He had this habit of biting, which is so weird to me now, but he said that he had this habit since he was a kid, and even his mom said that that was true. And he said it was just affectionate, and that might have been, I mean, I think that that might have been true maybe at the start, but I also feel that I have good reason to believe that every part of it was a lie, but that's just my personal opinion. And I had no problem with just biting. That isn't even the most uncommon thing. Um, but he did mention something early that I should have taken as a red flag. And he wanted to make sure that I was okay with him biting me because he didn't want me to come back later and say that he abused me, which I thought was really weird considering he had never hurt me before. And so, why would I call it abuse? And why was he thinking about that? And I thought he was being sweet, checking on me to make sure that I was still comfortable. But of course, I was because he hadn't hurt me. And why would I think he ever would? Um, and then he did for the first time by accident. And I don't specifically remember the actual first time that he bit me too hard by accident because I didn't think that it would be significant. Um, I thought that it would only happen once. And he started biting me more and more over a period of time, sort of throughout the whole relationship. And accidents of him biting too hard and really hurting me happened more and more frequently. Um, but he always seemed genuinely sorry. And he decided that he didn't want to keep accidentally hurting me. Um, so we were going to use a safe word so he could learn where my limit was, where my pain tolerance ended. Bit to take my arm and bite me in front of everybody until I literally shout in pain. And then I have to laugh it off because I'm so embarrassed and I don't want to cause a scene in front of all of our friends. And I'm sure everyone was a little bit uncomfortable, but as long as I was.
See, I don't know why none of his friends thought this was a problem or tried to talk to him about it in private, and are only coming out now after it's public and bashing him for it. But that's just how people are, I guess.
Lying and it wasn't fine because I would go home later and I'd tell him how uncomfortable I was, how much I didn't like being hurt all the time. And I needed him to really stop biting so hard. I didn't like it, and I tried telling him over and over again because he wasn't actually trying at all to not hurt me. Um, but he said he would try at first. And then.
See, the thing is, it's not about trying or not. It's pretty simple not to bite somebody. You either bite them or you don't. It's very simple. Even if you're biting someone, you can easily control how hard you bite them. It sounds like he has some kind of impulse control issue that he has a problem with. Alright, he's not a dog, he's a human being, and even dogs won't bite you super hard when they're playing with you.
But he said he would try at first. And then he started saying things like it was my pain tolerance that was too low, or I'm exaggerating how much it actually hurts. He's not even biting that hard. I'm being dramatic. Um, but his biting escalated to a point where I was covered in bruises all over my arms, and they hurt, and he would poke at them for fun. And he even felt so comfortable showing off my bruises that he had caused to our friends because he would bite me so hard by accident.
That's not a normal thing, and that's not an accident. Anyway, we'll go check out the new allegations and see what's up with that. As you can see, Wilbur is kind of a freak. He's a bit of a weirdo. He's a Minecraft YouTuber, so it kind of makes sense. Not all of them are like that, but, you know. Also, his response to this was horrible. He was being very selfish in his response and then basically said he had proof, but didn't want to give proof for the victims, like, or for her, like, for her for some reason. I don't understand why, but that's what he decided. So that's very weird. You'd think if someone's making these allegations against you, you'd want to defend yourself immediately and show the proof if you actually have it, but he didn't want to. So basically, this is a couple pictures of Wilbur and Alice together to show that they were together. And these are kind of where she explains everything. She says, "Hello, I'm Alice. I dated Wilbur back in 2019, and I want to speak out about my experience. I felt like I couldn't talk about this sooner because I was scared of his public influence and the potential backlash from fans, but now, after hearing Shelby's story, seeing the support she's been shown, and admiring her bravery, I finally feel safe to break my silence on our relationship." She said, "Back in 2019, at the beginning of the relationship, I was immediately shown a lot of affection, very reminiscent of love bombing." Now, I didn't know what love bombing was actually. I hadn't heard it before, but apparently, love bombing is an attempt to influence a person by demonstrations of attention and affection. It can be used in different ways and for either positive or negative purposes. Psychologists have identified love bombing as a possible part of a cycle of abuse and have warned against it. It can basically be used as a manipulation tactic. She goes on to say one of his close friends at the time warned her in confidence to be careful, as if they had seen people get hurt in the past, but I believe he was good inside. After a month, the honeymoon period was over, and it was like I was dating a completely different person. I was told to keep our relationship a secret, but was framed in a way that implied that it was for my safety, as if it was in my best interest to keep this a secret despite my own feelings. I believe that he enjoyed having control in the relationship. Now, this is all alleged. I just want to make that clear. This has not been fully proven. It is all alleged, so I cannot be sued. And basically, if that's true, which Shelby said something very similar in her video that he love bombed her and changed later in the relationship, it very much seems like to me that he is highly narcissistic and probably gets some kind of kick out of manipulating and controlling women. She basically said that he was condescending to her about her interests and the type of content that she created, and he only showed interest in his own future plans with music and the desire for fame. She goes on to explain that she also experienced the biting habit, which has already been elaborated by Shelby. So she also was bitten, which I think brings it up to like 4 people in total that have been bitten by Mr. Wilbur. And then she says, "After a while, I noticed that it was always me putting the effort into the relationship, so I decided one day to not be the one to message first, just to see what would happen, and he never spoke to me again, so the relationship dissolved." That is pretty insane, honestly. You don't message your boyfriend, and then he just never responds to you again? I don't know what kind of relationship that is. Obviously, he doesn't care about it. She said, "I gave him a second chance and met up, hoping to get some answers. We walked through densely populated areas of town where we got stopped multiple times by his fans. In hindsight, this felt very intentional, almost as if it was to flaunt his influence and desirability to me. We went to a bar to talk, and he then proceeded to get me very drunk. He got us an Uber back to his house. I ended up blacking out in his bed due to the alcohol, but the last thing I remember was him non-consensually removing my clothes. The next morning, he proceeded to tell me that I must be a lesbian because I wasn't interested in him." So basically, he's one of those guys that if you don't find him attractive, you must be lesbian, you must be gay, you must be something. There has to be some kind of other reason that you're not attracted to him because he's a model. He's the most good-looking person in the world. Because if you don't find him attractive, then there's something wrong with you, obviously. Just people like that are ridiculous. Then she says, "These past years have been extremely difficult to navigate because of this. I couldn't go online without seeing him everywhere and being adored as this soft boy who heroically respects women and mental health issues. I couldn't even go to conventions and enjoy my own hobbies without seeing people dressed up as him. Shelby was right. Staying quiet wasn't bringing me any peace, it was only keeping his. So he's basically being accused of SA in this, and it very much makes him look like a narcissist. And this post has gotten 6.5 million views, and he's probably seen it by now. He's more than likely seen it and just isn't responding for some reason. He just keeps refusing to respond to this stuff. I don't understand why, but we'll see in advance. He really needs to respond. There's always two sides to a story. You know, only if we had the other side and he wasn't refusing to give us the other side for some reason. Makes no sense. And I did see this. Some people, like, Alice is getting a little bit of backlash because she tweeted this: Waking up to such support was a little overwhelming. Thank you for your kind messages. I feel so heard. I'm going to take some time to myself and be offline. If you would like to support my creative efforts, feel free to check out my YouTube and Patreon. People are a little upset about that just because, you know, she's saying thank you for all the support and then saying go support my YouTube. Like, kind of like, thank you for listening to my emotional story, my drama. Go watch my YouTube. Like, kind of plugging her YouTube and Patreon is a little weird when talking about this kind of subject, but again, this is all alleged. I'm not saying I don't believe Alice at all, because I mean, I'm more inclined to believe Alice, especially because of Shelby, and because Wilbur's a Minecraft YouTuber. I mean, there's not much you can really defend against that. There's a lot of weirdos like George Not Found and, you know, stuff like that, so I don't trust any of the Minecraft community. But that was the new stuff that came out that is alleged, and we don't know if it's fully true or not, but we'll have to wait and see what Wilbur says. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Share with your friends, your enemies, whoever you want, really. And yeah, see ya.